Hey loves, how are you? Today is going to be a divine feminine support message. This has been coming in since yesterday, but I did not have the space to sit down and give it due justice. So I had to wait till I had enough time to come in and give it space. So it's been really coming through that the Divine Feminine Collective has transmuted so much of their past trauma that the old energies are just not resonating with the feminines in the same way that they used to. This isn't to say that there's still not some stuff processing or that we've completed everything, but there has been enough of the new foundation and the new way of being laid that the divine feminines have moved into this space of realizing her worth and also deeply knowing and owning that she wants to invite a masculine into her life that deeply loves and respects himself enough and is confident and comfortable enough in caring for himself deeply enough that he's able to reciprocate those energies with her and for her as he is doing it for himself. And of course, she wants to reciprocate in kind. So, as the Divine Feminine Collective is really beginning to stabilize within that, especially it seems to be with this full moon in Cancer, and as we're moving into the end of the year and beginning to prepare for a new year, there is a lot of old cycles that are closing out. And it came to my awareness from multiple sources that the feminines in general are honoring their past connections or honoring the connections that they've had, but also understanding where she has grown to the point where she can't participate in the old parts of the patterns or connections that do not work for her anymore. And this is happening because as you transmute your trauma and clear generational energies and embody more and more of into who you are, you're not needing the same types of external triggers that you once needed to be able to realize where you were needing some support in your system. So there's more and more feminines who have reached this shifting point where she's really letting go of all of the past and really truly preparing and or stepping forward into her new foundation, into the new energies more fully. And what this is doing is, yes, there's still some stuff she might be moving through, but it's allowing for a reset of all of the old energies so that whoever or whatever is truly meant for her is going to meet her in the new foundation, in the new energies. And I saw this gorgeous vision of the feminines who have been doing this internal work. I know we're still in the process, of course, but who have reached a deeper state of inner union, and it's really starting to take hold and harmonize in the heart space. What's happening is all of the energy that the feminines have been putting into this work, the seeds are starting to grow. And the vision that I saw was that the feminines aren't even realizing how much they've grown. And what's happening as they're making more space for themselves down into the lower chakras, down into her direct personal connection to the earth, her own internal masculine and feminine energies, and she's allowing her true essence to fully fill her body, a couple things are happening. One, some of you might be feeling your connection to your external masculine differently. Some of you may even be feeling like it doesn't exist anymore in moments. And depending on your circumstances, that could be the case, and or it's just a signal of the energetic transformation that is happening within your connection as you're more fully embodying into your inner union. What happens is the more you come into that inner union where you once felt another's energy, now you're feeling your own energy, loves. Now you're feeling your true essence. You're beginning to feel more and more of who you actually are in your body, and you're appreciating the external um versions or external mirrors, but you're also like coming into this very exciting time where you're not needing that in the same way because you have learned from your initiation, you've learned from your process, and so you're embodying more and more of who you are. And what is happening, what I saw in the vision was that as the feminines are truly making space for all of who they are, what is happening is that all of a sudden they're thinking not much is happening. They're grounding into the earth and realizing there is all of these gorgeous new plant roots or seeds that have been growing all along. And I saw this vision of the feminines like opening up and realizing that they've been pot bound, still trying to work in the old energies and figure it out when she's been ready to ground. In the past, maybe she was looking for the masculine to come build the garden with her, but all along she's been cultivating it internally. And as she grounds into the earth, she realizes that she has the whole farm already grown. So allow yourselves to ground into the earth. Allow yourself to really bask in the garden that you have planted for yourself. Allow your roots to stabilize into your space, into the planet, into the earth. Allow yourself to fully stabilize into that, loves. You've been doing it, and maybe you thought there was something else that was going to come. And I'm not saying that there's not, maybe there is, but also honor the results of all of the work that you've been doing. Allow them to ground into the earth and allow yourself to start to harvest from all the fruits of all of your labor, because you've done and accomplished a lot more than you've been realizing. And some of us, or some of you, have been holding yourself back, thinking that you haven't done enough because the external validation hasn't shown up yet. But maybe that's the whole entire point. That external validation isn't going to come in the way that we once thought, because we've outgrown that type of external validation, loves. You are finding more and more of that internal validation. So as you allow yourself to more fully embody into that, to own that for yourself, to stabilize that down into the earth. And I saw this vision. It was like all of a sudden the roots were planted and there was these lush, gorgeous gardens. And the feminine was sitting in the center of her garden, surrounded by all of these gorgeous plants and flowers and fruits and vegetables and, whatever you've been planting seeds for. Those garden references are referring to your business ideas, your creative ideas, the visions you have for your life and your future, your health, your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your relationships, your creation energies, whatever it is, your hobbies, whatever it is that you've been wanting to experience, traveling, connecting with new people, meeting new people, the vision for peace on the planet, for embodying deeper forms of love, whatever it is that lights your fire, loves, you have that power inside of you. And as you ground it, and as you allow yourself to bask in your garden, and if you're not quite where I'm speaking about right now, that's okay. This is what you're looking forward to, loves. This is what's coming. This is why you just keep going. Even when you thought what was going to show up doesn't show up, you keep going for you, because we're doing it in a new way. We're moving forward in a new way. We're building things in a new way. So the way that we used to do things, the way that we used to know things, and the way that we used to even connect to our external counterpart energy is all changing. And when it changes, that is actually a positive signal. That means we're growing. That means we're changing. That means transformation is occurring. And if it's happening for you, it's not only happening for the counterpart connection, that's happening for everyone that you're connected to. Because remember, I said event plus response equals outcome. So the way you respond, the way that you move, the way that you live, the things that you're doing, even if you're not focusing on anyone else but yourself in the exact moment, you're still positively or directly or indirectly affecting all of the people who are connected to you, even when and especially when you are focused on showing up for yourself. Because as you build that steady, firm, strong, stable foundation in showing up for yourself, now you know how to hold that container for you. And as you know how to hold that container for you, you're able to share that and hold that with others. And I've been seeing a bunch of your comments, and I know a lot of you have your own businesses and groups, and you hold spaces and you coach and you do this type of work. And I'm so happy and grateful that you're here connecting, and we're all coming together and going in deeper in new ways, right? And each one of us, that as we do our work, it spreads out, right? So just keep allowing yourself to open up to what resonates with you, what feels good for you, what feels supportive for you, and keep allowing more and more of that to come into your space. So you can have this energy of being independent and caring for yourself in more of that maybe masculine stabilized energy, but you can bring in the more fluid flowing feminine energy by allowing yourself to receive the reciprocity. And this is an important piece, because I think that some of us along this journey, because we've had to be more in our protective masculine energies. I mean, if you're on this planet, we've been having to do it, right? So it's almost like a transition to allowing ourselves to actually be in our feminine energies and receive. And there was a pocket that I even went through for a while, and I was like, well, I'm open to receiving, but it seemed like things were quiet. And then there was this light bulb moment where I was like, well, the actual truth is, I really wanted the reciprocity. I really wanted, like, so what it is yes, we're adding in the idea of receiving. We're still going to keep giving and sharing and providing and doing what we do as feminines, internal, external, however you are working with this feminine essence. You're still going to be providing what you provide, because in truth, on the other side of it, masculines may have that tendency to be more providing in the physical material way, right? But the feminine essences provide nurturing and creation and love, and they bring in a whole other ability of providing, right? So I think what happens is sometimes we get in this place where we're like, well, if I just receive, then what do I have to offer? And so that sometimes creates a feeling of cognitive dissonance, and or I'm not quite sure how to do it. It's not about getting rid of the other parts of who you are. It's just about adding to it by allowing yourself to receive the reciprocity in a more interdependent manner. You're still independent. We know you can still take care of yourself and do your thing, but now you're opening up to inviting those types of connections and supports and relationships and potentially even partnership that are also now in a space to reciprocate in the energy that you're embodying now. Because who you are right now in this moment, or even if you watch this a couple days from now, is not the same who you were yesterday or last week or last year. So you're always growing and you're always transforming on some level. And sometimes it seems slower than others, but it's still happening. And so as we allow ourselves to receive the results of what we've been doing, I know that was like number 9, I think, on the Inner Union series about letting ourselves receive the results. If you haven't seen it, it's a really good one to step into and really work with, because we get in these energies of going and going and going, And like, how about we actually sit in the garden of results that we've created and actually enjoy all of it, right? You have to start harvesting the fruit and the vegetables and enjoying the flowers while they're available. Because if you let them get overripe, that's not that they start to rot, right? And that's okay because those will go back to seed and create new plants the following season. But we don't want to continue that cycle all the time. We want to actually enjoy the garden that we grew, right? And reap the benefits and harvest the results and allow those to really embody into our lives. So this I feel like is a really big space that the feminines are in as we're shifting the end of 2023 and moving into 2024, which is an 8 year. It's a strong, nice foundation. And it's a very prosperous, abundant number, right? So there's a lot of strength and support in the energy that we're moving into. And there's very much an awareness in the energetic field that there's quite a bit of clearing out of the past, not just the recent past, but I've been doing some sessions with you guys and wow, we've had some really big sessions moving a lot of energy. You guys have been ready, amazing, gorgeous, been loving that. Thank you for connecting for those of you who have. There is a lot that's coming forward. And I didn't know that I was going to do this, but I would like to pull us some messages on what to kind of be aware of as we move into the new year for the feminines into 2024. And just kind of, I'm guided to get 3 cards and just see what messages come through. And of course, as always, I would love to hear from you. How are you feeling? How is this resonating? Um, and I'm just appreciating all the new energy on the channel. And for those of you who are new or new subscribers, welcome. So happy to have you here. Thank you for your connection. Ooh, all right. So you saw that fly out, right? It was the Chariot and it flew out and flipped upright in my lap. Interestingly, the energy that's coming with that is that like the Chariot in general is fast movement. And the way that it flipped, I feel like it's not just forward movement, quick forward movement, but the way that it flipped is signifying to me that a lot more is changing than we realize from every direction. Okay. It almost felt like it's opening a whole new portal and it's like halfway there into the brand new energy and then it's going to come really moving forward. But this transformation that's happening is, even though it's in process of opening and aligning, it's coming fast. I want to see what's with that. It feels very balanced. I think another layer that's coming with this is for those of you who have been working on that internal union, and maybe you felt like you haven't gone as far as you want to, or there's some spots where you're feeling a little bit lost or a little bit uncertain. Like maybe what I'm sensing is that maybe there's a piece that you get the concepts, but you feel like almost like there's a part where you're blindfolded, like you're needing another little bridge of energy in order to feel more stabilized in your internal union. And what's coming through for me to share with you around that is to, as you're working in the heart space with your inner union, like you have your feminine heart, which is our actual left side physical heart, but in the heart chakra and the heart chambers, there's also a masculine side heart. And if you look at, I think it was 2 videos ago, I posted a picture that actually depicts that in the masculine heart, that there was the red heart and then a blue heart. So you can work with energetically envisioning and inviting both of those chambers of your heart to come more into receptivity and alignment and an embrace of one another. But then you might also find that there's a third chamber over the top of the 2 that acts almost like a shield. So think of it kind of like as your Wonder Woman or your, you know, how Superman has the S on his chest. So it's like your it's what protects the inner layers of the heart. And so you may want to meditate on or dive into some of those areas. What I'm seeing is that maybe there is a bit more protection on the internal chambers of the heart that you haven't been aware of, that some of that may be connected to your experiences with the external masculines or external feminines in your life and your ancestry and past lives, all of that. I'm sensing that if you are feeling a little bit uncertain, to go and meditate or work in those pockets. Of course, if that's something you would like support with, you can book a one-on-one with me. I'd be happy to work with you in that. But in the meantime, or whatever you decide, because if you can do it, by all means do it. Just notice if you come into those spaces where you're aware that you're not able to see something, almost like you have a blind spot, you can start to ask your higher self to guide you and support you. Ask for the truth energy to come and show you and bring you clarity on either what it is or where you should go to find the information that you're needing. Okay. So I encourage you to, when you feel those spots, because I can tell there's like frustration, because it's like, well, I know something's there. I know I don't quite have all the puzzle pieces, but I'm not really sure what to do about it other than just keep going, which is definitely part of it. It will eventually show you. But envision or imagine where you feel that kind of blind spot. Imagine that you're turning the spotlight onto it and then give it some space. All right. Like, I'm aware that this is a blind spot, but I want to see what's going on there if that's in alignment with me. So I'm going to ask for solutions to start to come to me to support me in being able to stabilize my own internal union. And sometimes this happens because, well, there's a lot of protections within our heart. There's a lot of things that we've experienced in this life through lives, through ancestral energies. So there are sometimes energies that are frozen or locked up or bound up that we're just not aware of. So hopefully this awareness is kind of helping shine a spotlight on that so that you can start to move through that and feel more internal alignment. Okay. Beautiful. All right. What else do we got? I said I was going to do 3. It's getting a little shaky. That sometimes gets shaky when I'm working with the masculine energies. So that's kind of telling me that the feminines are ready to ground some new energies for sure. Okay. And maybe because I felt the masculine energies. So, all right, we have the 5 of Pentacles and the High Priestess. So what's coming through to me is that there is still some grief processing that might be happening, even as you're coming out of or preparing to come out of understanding you've outgrown the old patterns. And even as how exciting that is and how good it feels to be more and more in that internal union, it can also create some levels of grief because you're feeling like you're leaving behind everything that you knew. And in many instances in the past was where you've had profound experiences that changed you, and they were beautiful and they were amazing and they helped you initiate you into your awakening, and you appreciate those even as difficult or as painful as they may have become. There is some grieving and allowing that old pattern to complete out, because what happens when we're completing that out is there can be some levels of uncertainty that occur anytime we make a move from one thing into something new. Okay, it might be exactly where we want to go, it might be the perfect thing for us, but there still is a time where you may experience some grief or feeling of loss. Just honor it. It doesn't mean you're going backwards or you're stuck. It just means you're allowing yourself to process the entire experience, and you're honoring it for what it was and making room for new in your garden. All right. Allowing your intuition to guide you. I'm also getting another layer with this, that with that masculine energy I felt come in, is that if you have external masculines in your life, in whatever way, family, friends, counterpart, you may be witnessing them going through new types of grief or emotion in ways that they haven't in the past, but that you have personally experienced. So you may be called again to share or hold space with them and for them because you have the experience and the stability emotionally to be able to do so. Okay, I think I talked about that a few videos ago as well. So yes, there we have that. So that's a little bit honoring your own grieving process if it's coming up, especially with this very emotional full moon. And then also being aware that others are going through grief, even if they're not fully aware that that's what they're experiencing. You may just have that awareness to hold space for that process when you're able to, of course. All right, let's get our last one. All right, we have the Knight of Cups. So give me a minute for this. This is bringing up a couple of things for me. One, it brings up the energy of the past masculines that the feminines have connected with, the ones I said that she was growing out of in the sense of the old patterns. But the way that this is coming in, what this energy signifies for me as it's coming in to complete out this message is twofold. One, it's honoring that energy, those connections for exactly what they were and for everything that the feminines have learned from these masculines. But the way that it came in, it's also signaling to me that some of those very masculines that you're moving away from, letting go, releasing, may be the same masculines that cycle back around to you in the new energy. Okay. So I am sensing that potential, but I am feeling the energy of some doors closing and other ones opening. Okay. Almost like a revolving door. And it feels like it's going to be different for each one of you, but this actually is catching me, so I'm going to have to pick another card on that. Okay. It does feel like there's masculines exiting and masculines coming in, and it's going to solidify and strengthen what the feminines have been learning, but it also may come in to help open up that blind spot that we were talking about for the internal union. So whether it's someone from the past or someone new coming in, it's going to begin to support you in more and more of that internal union energy. One, showing you how much you've been growing, right? It's funny here, like it's all open, and here she's all bound up. How much you're learning and opening, how much you're learning to embody, but also the places where you're still shoring up and strengthening yourself. And so, whatever's happening with this process with your masculines, whether you're completing out cycles or beginning new ones, or all of the above, it's helping you to strengthen into your own self and your own inner union, and also shedding a spotlight into some of those blind spots. Okay. Very good. I love it. I'm so grateful to be here with you as always. I hope you're having a beautiful week, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Just so you guys know, I do have some of those inner union readings still open. I decided to keep those open till January 10th, because after that, I'm going to be away for a week, but I wanted to keep those open because it does seem like you guys are really benefiting from that session, as well as people are still signing up. So I wanted to give a bit more space for that. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to drop that in the pinned comments. And of course, I still have my one-on-one deeper, like 1 hour sessions available as well, if you're interested in those. And as always, I will see you very soon. I love you, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Love you.